Hey, you know what would be great, Timmy?
What?
If people
Some
would...
Our City coffee?
It certainly would be, now that you say that. Today's podcast is brought to you by ourcitycoffee.com. Timmy.
Our City Coffee is the actual coffee company we started here in Los Angeles, where we roast local, we hire local, we give back local. We're working with kids to try to help feed them with every bag of beans we sell online on ourcitycoffee.com.
Every bag sold equals a kid fed in Los Angeles. Use the code BS and get 15% off. I was taking a look at the analytics again recently, actually yesterday. You know, people in 32 countries have listened to the podcast.
Stop it.
I kid you not.
Name
sir.
all 32 right now.
I don't know.
You probably couldn't even name 32 states.
I can name 32 states, but I definitely can't name 32 countries. If you've listened, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Coming live to Twitch. We're going to start doing live streams, Timmy. How exciting is that?
It's exciting. It's so nerve-wracking.
Is it?
No.
No, not at all.
I feel like there's
and you don't have to
something
do
I should
anything
say.
different. I'll just set it up and arrange it.
Yeah.
You're just along for the ride. Today on the podcast, we've got Lance Harrington, the founder of Unico Nutrition. This is part number 3 of our 5-part mini-series leading up to the Fit Expo January 27th and our live podcast, Mike Rashid, Corey Kaye. You like to save money, right?
Most of the time.
Why not save $10 to the Fit Expo? Use the code CurranLA19 at thefitexpo.com and you're going to save $10.
Wait, you can save $10 off that promo?
You certainly can.
Isn't it?
Thefitexpo.com, CurranLA19, you save your money. We've actually worked with Lance and Unico in the past on a project, and when we talked about doing these Fit Expo podcasts, we figured what a great fit. Let's bring Lance back in, see how business is going, and talk to him about it.
Yeah, and we've always liked Lance.
Lance is a good
Lance
dude.
thinks completely, like he's a young guy, young entrepreneur, came right out of college, started a business, thinks completely different in a space that could get cluttered if you don't. We talked about how he started his career at an agency as he was building his company on the side. He worked on major companies like Bank of America, did analytics with them, and how he used that agency knowledge and transformed that into his own business knowledge.
Timmy, I couldn't have said it any better. We hope you enjoy the podcast, and thank you for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder of Unico Nutrition, Lance Harrington.
We got to get a sound.
We should get a little soundboard.
Clapper. Yeah.
We'll upgrade at some point.
Yeah, we got it.
On a rainy Los Angeles day. You can kind of hear it in the background.
Yeah. 3 days in a row?
Yeah. You're from Boston or New Hampshire? Where are you from?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
So,
New
rain,
Northeast.
rain, snow, sleet, the whole works.
You're used to it.
Yeah, this is nothing.
But people aren't here are not used to it.
No.
So when it happens, everything shuts down. You don't see people out, or there's crazy traffic.
No, yeah, including me. I went to the gym
Pull
yesterday.
that low in front of you.
Yesterday morning.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm, late as usual to a class, and I was on the on the 405, and I just hydroplaned for like 50 straight yards, and I was like, oh man, I forgot. It's raining.
Damn.
These roads are not built for this stuff.
No.
Yeah. Where do you work out at around here?
I sound like kind of a douche, but I go
Soul Cycle?
the Equinox membership where I
okay.
kind of go to like whatever one, and
Okay.
sometimes I swim, so I go down to South Bay. Sometimes
Okay.
take classes at Marina, but
Yeah.
I sound like a douche.
just a good way to start. Oh, I just go to all the Equinox.
Yeah.
But
I usually hit it on Monday. I go to
You
the
know-
West Hollywood. Tuesday.
Yeah. What's cool about those though is like you can meet some super cool people there.
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if that's why you're
Totally.
doing it. Obviously the places are great too, but
Yeah.
but like the networking aspect of it probably is worth it if you're doing that at all.
Yeah.
Yes and
sometimes.
no. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for working out for me is kind of like that haven or kind of that spot where you can go be alone and get away from
Sure.
other stuff. So I kind of put my head down and just try and get the work done. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good people I've met there too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Equinoxes are cool. If you don't have an Equinox, they're like super nice Equinoxes, like super nice gyms in LA, New York, Miami, upscale type places.
Yeah.
But they're really cool.
All
Like,
they're in those 3 cities.
I don't know. I just big.
I know New
cities in
York and
general.
LA for sure.
Yeah. I like them.
Mm.
Anywho,
Yep.
Unico Nutrition. You started this how long ago? Why? What? Where'd it come from?
Why?
And background, we know a little bit, probably more than a little bit, is we used to work together. We worked together on a project-ish. We'll get into that a little more. But so we've done some stuff before. But so why'd you start the company? Where? How? When?
It's a long story, and I tend to babble about this kind of thing. But it was about 6.5 years ago. Graduated college. I was a hockey player my whole life. I didn't, like anyone, a lot of people don't know what they want to do, especially athletes when they're used to competing and sports. That's kind of all they know. And for me, that was kind of hard because I did kind of assume I would go on to play some form of professional sports. And you as a competitive athlete, we were, it's tough when that realization finally sets in. You're like, what now? How do I compete? How do I define myself? And for me, I know, I still want to do something with that, sports and athletics was all I knew. And, but at the same time, I'd always, even as an athlete, I had a sort of a creative or more entrepreneurial side. And so it was kind of a natural intersection of all the things that, I was interested in was, sports nutrition, because it's, going through, my hockey career, I always wanted to have, an edge. I was I was a really skinny kid, and I was in a defensive position. You had to, play a physical role if you're tall, and I was tall, but I didn't have any muscles on me. Yeah. So I would try and take protein powders, weight gainers, all that stuff to try and bulk up, get bigger, faster, stronger, and be better at the sport. And that's how I found sports nutrition, and then kind of always was into, just bettering myself. And then, of course, as a kid, especially when you're more influential, whatever, easy to be influenced. The marketing. I think some of the best marketers in the world are attracted to my industry because it's it's fascinating. It's, we can sell you on something that's going to make you better. It's such a fun, but challenging business. Sure. And I thought a lot of people did it maybe not quite the wrong way. And to this day, you see a lot of people, in my opinion, not quite doing it the right way. Yeah. And selling something that maybe not be attainable or healthy. And so as an athlete, I think my goal was to create something that I could use my marketing skills in a way that I, was challenging, but I still felt like I was doing a service to an industry where there was a gap. And in my opinion, that's where marketing to athletes and then people who are looking for cleaner products to put in their bodies, but still help them achieve a goal. Sure. And that's kind of where it started. And for me, I focused on a female segment of the industry, because no one else was doing it at the time. So there was definitely some of that looking to capitalize on, an underserved niche. And I kind of did that with a pre-workout marketed for women, and kind of was taken with digital marketing, which I still do to this day, focus on that. And was just able to have some early success with one product and just slowly build brick by brick. And it's definitely evolved. We have a full line of products now, and things are going really well, but it's still a brick by brick mentality. And I'm trying to stay true to that while managing, aspirations, and the appeal of faster growth is kind of where I'm at now. And it's a challenge, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah. But it's stressful.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So when you actually got the company started was how long ago?
2012.
Okay,
June of 2012.
So just after you had that idea, you actually formally started the company?
Yeah, formally went to the bank, got a business bank account, trademarked the name.
Look at you.
Yeah, but then the next 4 years, I was working a full-time job in Boston and then San Francisco in digital advertising, doing analytics, which I'm good at, but I hate. But I guess the silver lining was I was still, I was kind of doing my Unico while I was at work some of the time, but also trying to translate anything that I was learning on the job into something that could help my fledgling business. And I did pick up a lot of tips and tricks, and just a good sense of how the digital marketing landscape, what it looks like, and advertising, how it all works. So.
How much do you think it's changed? I mean, obviously it's changed a ton, but what do you think is the biggest change from when you started doing digital marketing 5 years ago till now?
Well, I mean, my personal kind of take on it, my religion has changed from trying to just get someone to buy something into trying to produce something that's so good that it's easier to sell, A, and then B, that person is maybe has a chance to buy it again because they got derived value from it. Yeah. And then I guess C would be that it was good enough to where they would tell a friend. And that's something that starting out, you're like, how can I just sell and get someone to buy this product? You're never thinking of, that's not really building it. It's an arbitrage, but it's not like building a business. I came to learn is making something that has so much value that you're not just good at getting them to buy it once, but you're making a product that gives them value and they're probably going to buy it again.
Brand loyalty.
So that's how I've evolved personally as a marketer and a businessman, and that's kind of like a duh thing. But starting out, it did take a few years really to kind of look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm selling some products, but it's not that good it's not as good as I would like it to be, and it could be a lot better. And I was spending most of my effort trying to figure out how to sell another jar of pre-workout instead of spending 80% of that time making that thing better, so that a lot more people are kind of coming to it, and you're having to spend less of that effort trying to push it out on people.
How did you figure that out though? Like, how did you when did it come?
Geez. I don't know. I think when you're doing your own thing, you're entrepreneurial. You do have a lot of time to just kind of roll things over in your head over and over. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just a matter of time before I rolled some of those rocks. Turned them over and said, man, maybe I should take a new approach to doing this, so that when, like I said, I was big into digital marketing, Google and Yahoo, and learning how to adjust those levers so that people find you for a certain keyword and things like that.
Sure.
And I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a big part of just fear that, if I ranked highly for a certain keyword and then I wake up the next day and my ranking changed, which it did, and my sales immediately take a huge hit and peaks and valleys, it was like, I can't just be dependent on being smart, a smart marketer. I need to build a brand and build a customer base that, if Google changes, I can shoot them an email, say, hey, I've got this new flavor, I've got this new product, and they're going to come back because they know I make a good product, I deliver it quickly, I have great customer service, and so it's a combination of things that kind of led to that realization. But I think it was definitely kind of one of those moments that kind of shift you. I think for me, it shifted me from being someone who had like a good hobby into someone who could build a legitimate business.
Were you, so when you were working at the agency, were you actively selling on your own website, or was it the agency work more of like research and stuff?
No, it was just huge enterprise level digital advertising. So we worked on, like, Bank of America was our biggest account, and I worked in a huge high rise in Boston, which was actually kind of nice when I think back to like the structure and the healthcare and all the nice kind of bells and whistles that come along with corporate America. But no, I was in analytics. I was like one of 25 analytics people assigned to the Bank of America account. We were their digital advertising agency of choice. We had some huge contract and like 3 entire floors of this enormous downtown Boston high rise were dedicated to just their account. Damn. So just the amount of, I guess, just like the scale of digital advertising, even back in 5 years ago, it just evolved so much from then. But even at kind of, I guess, the earlier stages of that type of advertising, the big enterprise brands were and continue to spend just ungodly amounts of money on it. So I had kind of I started with a very narrow view of what was going on, how they spent their money, where, why, what their goals were. But as I, just being curious and I'm working my ass off, I did kind of reverse engineer what the big picture was, which can be hard to do when you're just thrown in front of 3 screens and a shitload of spreadsheets and told, tell me if Bank of America's $250,000 last week was worth it. And I was like, that was the part that sucked the most, because it was the hardest, because a lot of times it wasn't worth it. But I was the guy who had to take all the data, manipulate it, spin it, which is a graceful word. We used to call it massaging the data.
Damn.
But no, it was very ethical, but it as you can imagine, it's tough to go and talk to big high level marketing execs, like legit. That was kind of what I dreamed of doing myself someday, is being a high paid corporate level, C-suite level, like marketing exec, and they're savvy as hell, and they don't take a lot of bullshit. They want to know that they have to go back to their people, their powers that be, and say, this is how I spent our money, because they're given a big, huge number and told, go spend it on digital. And so they spent it with us, and I think I did a decent job of showing them how and where and why and like what the results were. But it's immensely challenging, especially for like a bank where they're not selling hats or sunglasses where you can say you sold this many sunglasses. They've got branches everywhere. Not everything is cleanly like tied together such that you can spend your money on digital and translate, connect it directly back to accounts opened or things like that.
How were you? Like, what were your metrics that you went back to them with?
So
where were you mostly spending money?
They were mostly spending money on display, what we call display ads. And just to take a step back, think of banner ads, the ones that everyone likes to complain about, that everyone says don't do shit.
Yeah.
We call that display for whatever, that was just the name they gave it, display advertising. They spent a ton of money on that.
Okay.
Because there's so much inventory. Think of how many web page loads. And if you can be on a web page and reload it and a different ad will show up, all those impressions are like, whatever numbers, bajillions every day. They spent a lot on that. I mean, a lot of paid search. We managed some of their paid search, but there were a lot of other players that did that did that as well. But yeah, a lot of banner ads. And
were they doing social yet, or was it? Were they not? Yeah. Was it just too early?
It was very early. There was a lot of Twitter at the time, a lot of Twitter advertising, a lot of Facebook advertising. Facebook was already kind of establishing themselves as a big time player.
Yeah.
But even back then, we were doing like traditional buys with MSNBC, with Forbes, with the big time media companies that were used to getting their advertising dollars. So it was new for them to sort of lose some butt. And even then, it was like, if 95% of the pie, if there's 100% of the pie, 95 of it's going to those traditional executions with the big time publishers, and then just little tests with Twitter, tests with Facebook. I wouldn't love to go back now, but if I did, I think I would see it could it's probably flipped. I mean, they're probably spending so much on Facebook, and I mean, social was definitely in its earlier phases, but showing promise
for ads and whatnot.
Yeah.
How do you think? So you're working with these like stupid budgets.
Yeah.
Stupid big budgets, and then you go to a company that you started, and you probably have like no money to spend. So how do you go from there? Like, all right, I know how to do digital marketing for $1 million a month.
Yeah.
But
well, you can see how like when things go wrong, as they always do, even if you have full insight into signing off on everything, things go wrong all the time.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest difference is when things went wrong, I didn't care. People would yell. My bosses would have to go to their boss. Like, and it was a big drama, and it was I would kind of smirk, be like, haha, like the corporate America, like whatever. It's just money. But when it's yours, it's like it means something totally a lot different, and you're you just care so much with how it's being spent, and it makes it hard because marketing isn't always black and white. Advertising is not black and white at all, and you guys know that better than anyone. What are we going to do next week? We're going to go to an expo. I'm going to spend tens of thousands of dollars. I'm going to sell, $7,000 worth of product and spend $50,000. So that's why am I doing that for the second year in a row? And that's something that even I'm good with data. I'm good at analytics, and when I go through my all my financial statements for 2018, I'm not going to be able to. I wouldn't be able to go to an investor and clearly be able to show them where that return comes in and how and why. And it's it's branding, it's marketing, and maybe from that perspective, back when I was an analytics guy and I was so focused on, I thought I knew everything. I was like, oh, they're not getting their money's worth. What if they were? And I just was too dumb and young and had such a narrow view.
Sure.
What do I know? Maybe their accounts opened was 50% up that year that we were running all those display ads that I was, scoffing at. Maybe they were working, and maybe, those people in the, in the C-suite, in the high level execs, maybe they knew better than I did.
Yeah.
That could very well be the case.
Well, if they're still spending the money, they're doing something. I mean, something was positive enough for them to continue to do it.
Well, and look at, the billboards that we drive past every day, and we like to kind of make fun of them and be like, oh, I wonder how much that costs. And we kind of want to make fun of it, but it's like, no one took them down. Someone's still paying for them.
Sure.
It's just the analytics are trickier, and because of our generation, we like to see the data and have it all in front of us and know what's working.
Click
what's
through
not.
To something.
Yeah. Show me the numbers. Show me the ROI. And I think that could hurt a generation of marketers who just want to know. Sometimes you kind of have to have that faith and just. It's hard, especially as a young company, a small company with limited cash. Yeah, I still don't do it. I'm not on a billboard or doing those things that are harder to quantify. But I think as I continue to evolve and mature as a businessman, as an advertiser, it'll be interesting to see how my own kind of ethos changes regarding those more traditional forms of media. Because they're also going to, I think, and maybe they already have started to increase in maybe you're getting better deals on those than you did back when Facebook wasn't around. You know?
Yeah. Because so much more people are spending money on your Facebook, your Instagrams, your Twitters, everywhere else.
Yeah.
Than your traditional like TV and like when I hear
print magazine.
Print.
Yep.
When I hear people say radio, it makes me cringe.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm sure there's value somewhere.
We're podcasting, right? And I think, and we have not even tested it. It's a whole new frontier. But I know businesses in our category have gone from zero to whatever, hundreds of millions on the back of podcasting and personalities on the radio.
Podcasting is one of the highest like advertising rates, ROIs right now. Doing very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we're sponsored by Chevrolet.
Today, and there's a good segue. Today's podcast is brought to you by Chevrolet.
Yeah.
Buy your Chevy today. Did our grandpa work at Chevy?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I was going to say it wasn't.
Rest in peace.
And Equinox Gyms.
Yeah. Bank of America. We're loaded up here.
Use the code BS to get 10% off.
Sneaking in those kind of inadvertent plugs.
Yeah. How much were you spending at first when you first got in it? Were you spending did you have a couple $100 to spend, or were you like, let me spend $50 on Facebook?
For Unico?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't start paying I didn't do any paid advertising until probably 24 or 36 months ago. I tried to do mostly like affiliate. We have an ambassador program, which I love because it gives our best customers a chance to, use word of mouth and just traditional forms of human communication to help us grow. Yeah. And of course they get compensated a little bit for their part as well. And that makes me feel good, especially because we do it I think we do it in a good, clean, purely intended way, as opposed to like the coaches where you make them buy 10 jars of stuff and then they go to dinner parties and try and sell it to their girlfriends and stuff. It's not like that. And I think a lot of companies like that exist. And so affiliate can get kind of a bad rap for that.
Sure.
But no, I mean, and but when I did start doing paid, I didn't jump in with both feet. I did, $20 a day and
tested it out a little bit.
Tested out, but you know what? That's kind of a lie. I was testing things out for a long time.
Okay.
And I did not have good results for for those tests when I was doing $25, $40 a day.
Was it on Facebook or?
Facebook, okay. Pinterest. I was one of the first guys to test Pinterest.
Because you did start on females too.
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
Right, exactly. And maybe I wasn't patient enough. Maybe my budgets weren't high enough. I didn't give it enough of a real shot, or maybe Facebook wasn't quite the animal it is now 4 or 5 years ago, and it's not. We all know that. So it was a combination of things, but basically it just wasn't really there. Like the ROI wasn't there, and like I said earlier, sometimes it takes faith and stuff like that. But even a few years ago, I had even less of the guts to put money towards something that wasn't immediately coming home to me. So
when you got less too,
makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as any startup, you have to be creative and think outside the box, as opposed to like, let me just go spend some money and test that out. Even it's where can I go without spending any money to be as creative as possible and get people to my site and reoccurring.
Yep. And I also think that there's something to be said for kind of owning your own backyard too. I think a lot of brands they want to write a check to someone or put more money into Facebook before they are putting up valuable Instagram stories every day, before they're sending out good emails every week, or putting out just stuff that shows their existing group of people, hey, we're not abandoning you and just looking for the next sale. It goes back to what I said earlier. Sometimes you have to kind of internalize and make sure that you're controlling what you can control before, just as equally as you are prospecting out, going out to find new business and stuff like that. So, because if you keep those people happy, they're going to help your efforts trying to expand as well. If you're getting a good experience with us, you like your product, and you feel like we're still relevant and we're still working hard and putting out good products, you are willing to tell a friend if you're getting value out of that product.
Yeah.
And that kind of word of mouth can be overlooked sometimes, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I love your guys' Instagram stories.
I do, dude. No, for real.
And I would talk to our guys when we were doing some stuff like that, when we work with some other brands, like, how can we make it look like this? And I would show them your Instagram story, because they're just clean and energetic and fun looking.
Yeah.
It was different than the stuff we were doing.
Thank you.
But like the look was so good. Yeah. I mean, still doing the same-ish type stuff. But
yeah. But I mean, those are the hardest things to do, because you don't always wake up every morning with an idea, or sometimes you wake up and you say, No, my customer they know about Blue Frost, or they know about the birthday cake flavor. I just blasted that out at them the other day. So it's tough to kind of get over yourself and be like, just stick with it. And even if things become repetitive, it's those things go a long way. Even if you didn't get a ton of intrinsic value out of it, those things, I think there's a subconscious element as well.
Sure.
Just keeping the brand, top of mind and present. And if it's done tastefully, then it's not annoying people either. So it's a balancing act. But I mean, you gotta stay at the forefront of the customer's mind, or else, especially in an industry with a lot of competition, there's always going to be the shiny new brand that they want to try. So you got to keep them.
And it's entertainment. I wonder why Instagram hasn't done a follow Instagram story thing yet. You can follow hashtags, follow people. Why not
just follow just the story?
Yeah. Why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think that would, because there's a lot of people that like don't even post on their, or rarely post on their actual Instagram, but they're on their story 15 times a day.
And I mean, I might even fall in that category. I think the Instagram story is such an interesting development in, not even Instagram. I think social. Technically, did it copy a Snapchat story? Right?
Yeah,
like identical.
Basically,
but it's kind of it's different though. I don't know. Like a Snapchat, if I see someone's story on Instagram and I don't know who they are or whatever, you can easily click into their profile and then scroll their feed, and you're kind of finding out all that information that you need. The experiences we're very familiar with it, but I don't know if Snapchat was ever going to quite
go there.
Because Snapchat never cared about your profile. And
right. It was always kind of these moments that
one and done. Moment.
What I didn't like about that is that there's no discoverability on Snapchat. So like I remember one time I put up, and this is when I was personal training when I first came out here, and this was 4 years ago, and it was just when you could add to like the LA story or whatever. And I remember I had a story where 118,000 people looked at it. Wow. And it was like me doing training with one of the guys I used to train. And that would have been a big deal. Like I probably would have got a handful of followers, which would have helped, maybe get some more business at the time.
Yeah.
But you didn't even see my name, PW Curran.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even see my Snapchat name, let alone click onto something.
Yeah.
It was just me and a guy doing something.
Yeah.
And there was no way if they wanted to find me, they could have found me.
Did you just plug your own social media?
Snapchat at PW Curran, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
So actually, so you ran over something earlier that I wanted to go back to.
Okay.
So how do you go through like the flavors and pick the flavors, and because you guys have unique stuff. How do you go about that whole process?
Yeah. We try to be really creative in flavors, and a lot of our competitors will just use the data driven, the analytics to choose those, and what's the hot flavor? What do women like? They like strawberry. They like coffee. You can do it that way and you can have a lot of success. But I think if I have a coffee flavor that's a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10 to my palate, and then I've got like a coconut, strawberry, dragon fruit margarita that's a 11 out of 10 and I like it and I'm behind it, I'm going to make that, the poor business decision, I guess, for a lot of people, but I'm going to make the one that's, in my opinion, a better product. And that is kind of what makes us different in some ways, because you do get a little bit of the unexpected, and you do kind of get that feeling that guys in suits aren't calling all the shots here. There's some element of risk taking and creativity that you don't find everywhere. Yeah. So we try and be creative, and that's, taste is subjective, so it's hard for me to say 10 out of 10 on my palate. I'm not like one of those. Yeah. I'm no professional, but I'll have my people try it. My ambassadors try it, or sponsored folks try it, and if it checks out to some extent, that's the direction I do kind of follow my gut on that thing, on flavor and taste, and that's a very difficult part of this business, is making something that tastes good, because like I said, it could be a 10 out of 10 to me, and you could hate it and spit it out. Yeah. So it's definitely difficult, but it's one of the most fun parts of the job too. Getting 10 different flavor samples in the mail and getting to sit down and pour them all out, mix them up and try them, and then be able to go back and say, let's tweak this, bring the acidity out a little here, a little more salt there. It's fun. It kind of crosses over into that kind of like culinary. It's kind of a cool dimension to the business.
It seems like you guys do that a lot too. Like new flavors or changes. Like we saw you recently, and you're like, we got these new flavors to try of sample packs. And
it's fun, and it's kind of akin to your Lululemon, the brands. How do you how do you keep things fresh, and how do you, it's our equivalent of, the spring line, the fall line, the winter line. It's
that makes sense.
The new flavor.
I never thought of it like that. Yeah.
It's bring it, and then we get to then send out an email and make it look sexy and kind of trumpet, the new stuff. And that's what, we have people that haven't ordered in 2 years, and that's what kind of brings them back into our world. So it's a big part of our business. It's going to be interesting to see how that manifests as we continue to grow, because it's hard to manage 80 products with relatively small team. And you're paying warehouse space. You're ordering all kinds of different materials, as opposed to all the same materials where you can order a ton of it. So it's
a lot cheaper.
It becomes a challenge, and it's like, do you phase out some of the ones that aren't doing so well? So we're kind of sorting through some of that on our end as we start to have a deeper and deeper menu, kind of like, Cheesecake Factory. Like 40 pages of every single type of food in the world. But they're all good, so they keep them all.
What is the shelf life of something like a powder?
It varies in climate. We have warehouses in Las Vegas and in New York, so we have different areas of the warehouse that are different climate controlled. Some products have to be there, some can be out in the heat. Typically with dry powders, it's between 1.5 to 3 years.
Oh wow!
Which is awesome. For a small brand, you can be a little more bold in your purchase orders. We're still turning over batches within 2 months or so. Like, turnover is pretty quick, but it's relative to a pre-bottled like a Muscle Milk ready to drink or something like that, and that's a space that we're trying to learn more about. When you start to get into this thing's only going to be good for 12 months, it complicates the conviction you can have to jump into that, especially when stuff like that you've got to put up big money to pull it off. So shelf life stuff is tricky, and it just varies from product to product.
It's interesting.
How do you, when you first started working with ambassadors or influencers, or how, I assume same kind of deal. You didn't just jump in like, let me spend $10,000 on one person type deal.
Yeah. And I just had a really long. I don't know if it was a good call because it didn't go the way I wanted it to, but
I just had a really long conversation.
I had a call. Yeah. I had a call, and I got kind of worked up. Kind of going over my religion on it. I'm like, a lot of times influencers they want money. Why wouldn't they? When every company under the sun is reaching out to you, if you have 50,000 followers, and saying, let me pay you to use our product that I'm going to mail you for free. It's competitive as heck. And back when I started, it was a little bit less so, but now it's to the point where if you have a good following, you're in the driver's seat, and they know that. So it becomes a real challenge on how do I make you happy and be competitive and respectful of, and it's not a call out to them. Like, they've earned it, and that's what they're worth. So it's not on me to be like, you're not worth that. Someone else is going to pay them. So if they're worth that to me, how do I find a way to make them happy, make them excited to post about me, and then also get my return on it? It's very challenging. As an athlete, I try and make it very performance based. So if you're not performing and you get out of bed for a month and don't want to post about Unico and don't share your experience with the product, then you're not going to do as well, and
you're off the team.
Yeah, you're gone.
No, but it's a balancing act, and I will say I have a lot of respect and just I bet it's so hard sometimes to get up and do that post about that product that you owe it to that company to do. I don't do minimum posting requirements, but a lot of brands you've got a contract, they pay you good money, but 2 times a week you better post. And I think, in my opinion, that drives a lot of inauthenticity, which is not what these platforms are supposed to be about. And people are starting to see through that. People know if you mix up a shake and then toss it. Without, if it's, they can just tell when you like something and when you don't. Yeah. And that's not a challenge specific to my brand or my vertical with supplements. It's anything. Clothing, you can wear it and it's a little bit easier, but some industries are tricky to just have that consistently healthy relationship with promoters and influencers and things like that.
Yeah. We did a podcast a couple weeks ago with a company called the Kiss, one of the owners, and it's jewelry. And she said she makes, not only that when she buys like her personal stuff, but also when her selling of products, way better on Instagram stories than any actual. She's like, I'll actually pay less, or I'll pay more for them to do their Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Because it's more valuable and they can swipe up,
Yep.
go right to it instead of having to go back to the bio, click out, and go that one extra step. Plus a lot of times they can talk about it, and like with the pre-workout, it's not just like, hey, pre-workout. They can say it, and they can take you through a workout, or however each individual person.
Well,
does
and it goes back to what we were talking about between the nuances of Snapchat versus Instagram, and Instagram stories versus the traditional Snapchat user experiences. That the story is so cool because it's the best for businesses, and it's the best, I think, for users, because it kind of takes a little bit of that pressure off to get the lighting just right and get everything just perfect, because you know it's going to be gone tomorrow. So it gives you that confidence to just throw it out there and be yourself more. Yeah. And that's why I think Instagram is it is in a good place. I mean, brands are kind of gunking it up in different ways, but in terms of just being able to, the point of it, I think, has always been for people to show, show their true colors and show who they really are. And my opinion now is that the traditional feed is more of the, it's the sort of edited, glossed up, this is what we really want you to see. It's
the front door.
It's the front door. Yeah. And then the story is what's really going on. Yeah. But like what you said, it's so cool because Instagram, they know that the story that's the key now, but they didn't make it only good for authenticity and for the people to have that confidence to show reality. They also made it awesome for brands to monetize it and use it as a tool. Yeah, which is great. It's awesome.
But what I don't like is you have to have 10,000 followers to do that. And I know lots of people with fake 10,000 followers
to do a story.
To swipe up.
Oh, the swipe up. Oh,
so
yeah.
For a simple thing as us to put our podcast up, like we can't do a swipe up. Huh. We could. I mean, we might lose a couple hundred people from that, or whatever. Yeah. Which that would be super beneficial to someone who's under 10,000 followers. Yeah. I don't know why they do that.
I didn't know that they did that, but
yeah. Well, you're over 10K. Yeah. You can do it.
Well, you'll get there soon.
Yeah.
It's just it's the follower game is tough. I mean, we were stuck at like. It's hard not to get mixed up in follower counts, and when they're gating certain things with that feature, that does sort of make you focus on it more. I understand, but even just like certain milestones, like I just want to get to 50K, but and then you just want to get to 51 and 60. It's a never-ending cycle, but and
it matters, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's all about engagement and all that stuff. But when it does, you can't do it because it's 10,000 followers. You can't swipe up like that. That's the thing that actually matters. And I don't know that there's any other platform where something like that matters. Maybe like Facebook. Once you get to a certain amount of fans or stuff like that, like you can start monetizing it now with the new deals. But I don't. As far as like that stuff, I've never heard.
Well,
of it.
Probably. I wonder if there's different. Lord knows what they deal with on even a day-to-day basis, as far as robots and spamming and people doing all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, you've seen some weird stuff in your DMs, right?
Oh, like I get constant like hello, or we'll get from our account like hello. Oh, let me click this. Let's talk. Definitely we'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah.
With influencers and what you've done there, what do you think the biggest mistake is that you've done?
Mistake with influencers, I don't know that I've made a lot of really, really bad ones.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I adopt more of a like a just try it out kind of mentality.
Screw it. Yeah.
But then I'll do it in riskless ways. I'm not going to sign someone on and throw them all over my website and Instagram before I know what they're all about, Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times they'll kind of play in their own world and I think there are ways to kind of test a lot of different things without taking a lot of risk. And I think because I have been able to do that, I don't think I've taken a lot of big swings and misses. Yeah. When I do kind of go big, it's only, again, going back to performance-based, because I'm such an analytical kind of performance-based athletic. I like winning and losing. If that person's winning for me, then I'll take a shot at them. I'll invest in them. But again, only after kind of a time where they've shown what they're all about and what they can do. Yeah. Which is the way it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah. I know a guy who has a company, and they have former athlete and stuff like that too. And his thing with his product, and it's like $60 to $80 is a typical cost amount, and they think they get 20%, the influencer. Mm-hmm. And he said, if you're not interested, don't work with us. But if you're going to work with us, I don't pay up front. but you can make money. This is your company now. Make money with that. And I don't know if I feel like I like the vibe. I don't necessarily like the way he says it, but I get it too. Like, you want me to give you money? Well, if you sell product, I'll give you money. Yeah. You know, kind of deal.
Yeah. It's tough. And I read the Lululemon founder's book over the holiday, and it kind of brings up what you're talking about, like how he took an industry that was, you know, the retail industry, cashiers and clerks and product educators and stuff, and he found a way to get, you know, really, really bright, motivated, entrepreneurial people in those stores selling you shorts and workout yoga pants. And that was part of his bread and butter. Yeah, he had a great product, but he also was a genius for being able to incentivize people to sell his product. And he didn't just do it by waving dollars in front of their face. Yeah, he made it clear that, I mean, we're human. We want to excel in every different way, financially as one of them. But he was able to create an environment and a culture in which it was all, you know, the money was tied to their self-improvement of themselves and becoming better people and better, you know, stewards of the company, better co-workers with people they work with every day. And I mean, that's cool. I mean, I think I would love to be able to do something like that someday, or find a way to motivate people and inspire people to unite them under something that can, you know, that's how he grew something unbelievable out of the clothing industry where, they're great yoga pants, but everyone's making good yoga pants.
Yeah. What sort of like different creative stuff have you done as far as like marketing concepts or ideas? Like, so what I thought of that is, so did you see the Bears game? Missed the kick 2 weekends ago, and then Goose Island did that whole field goal challenge thing.
Oh no, I didn't see the.
You didn't see this? Okay,
no.
All right. So I'll break it down real quick. So Bears kicker Cody Parkey missed his field goal 2 weekends ago. So of course people are talking on social. Goose Island, who's a Chicago-based company, says, all right, you say you can do it, prove it. We're going to set up a 43-yard field goal outside of their brewery.
Yeah.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
First 100 people to show. You guys can kick a field goal. If you win, you get beer for a year. Now they had to pull back. They couldn't do that. Like lawyers were like, hey, you can't give away beer for a year. Like that's not.
Really?
Yeah. No,
so what was
that's not the look. They said we'll send you to any NFL. You and a friend at any NFL game next year.
Oh.
And then if you make that 43-yard field goal, you've got an opportunity to do a 65-yard field goal. We'll send you to this year's Super Bowl.
That's cool.
If you make it, yeah, which was cool. But so they had. I was watching Saturday morning on their Instagram or on their Twitter Live. 121,000 people watched it.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more like as it went
afterwards,
on. Yeah. ESPN, Barstool, Yahoo, all the big networks are talking about it. And I'm sure it cost them, I don't know, maybe $1,000 to like set up some poles and and put up hire security or something like they put up a little fencing and stuff so you could stand in front of it and not get kicked in the face. But I thought it was super cool.
The most coverage got was with these people who would come and they'd slip and fall and they'd kick it. Like, it was hilarious.
One dude got kicked in the balls.
Genius. And every person there too had their phone out. You know, showing their friends.
There might have been 2,000 people there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, and all those people then.
Did you guys go out and do it?
It was in Chicago.
No, it was in Chicago.
We weren't there. I just saw it. But I mean, if this would have been in Los Angeles, my ass would have been there kicking a toe kick. Yeah. I was trying to be our kicker like our senior year or something. And our coach was like, "Dude, you're not kicking. Get out of here."
Yeah.
Have you done anything like outlandish, crazy? Like, let's try something nuts.
No. The short answer is no. Nothing that cool. I think as we. And like you said, that's not even a lot of resources to do. That's pretty simple. I mean, I do. One of my goals for the year and going forward is doing more things that bring our brand to life. I think being as historically and still quite a small company, we're still kind of like, I don't know, finding ways to be creative and authentic without, without a ton of resources. And that's an awesome example of them for them doing that. God. But I would say our expos, we do a good job of kind of going all out, quote unquote, and trying to show people, physically, this is what we're all about. We're energetic.
Seems like
we're having
mini
fun.
Club there.
Definitely. You definitely have a different vibe and you stand out.
Yeah.
There's definitely a ton of energy around you.
It's definitely different. There's all the bright lights going up. Is it same setup? Ish.
You guys weren't in Vegas.
No.
So you guys are gonna see something a little bit different.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's we've expanded on the same idea and made it
cool,
even more high profile. It's pretty sweet.
Cool.
How did you come up with the whole concept of your? What is it, about a 20 by 10?
It's 20 by 20 now.
Okay.
I'm big into outer space. There's your quote of the day.
Yeah.
I'm in outer space. No, I'm just.
Space.
I think my design influence and I guess my design language is just very kind of galactic. It's very unrestrained. It's colorful. It's it's out there, for lack of a better term, and I think I bring that into every aspect of our brand. Sometimes it's too much, and it's not. It sounds like I'm like an LSD trippy guy or something, but it's like it's all right. No, I've always been drawn to color and just being extroverted in how I communicate visually, and that's translated into packaging and kind of the physical manifestation of our brand as well. And and music is an influence, and I love electronic music, and that culture has always, again, super druggy culture, but it's also it's cool. They've captured an atmosphere of that's kind of galactic and sort of surreal, and I think that's attractive to people like us for whatever reason.
Yeah,
but I think you'll like the booth.
Cool. Yeah, I always like how you guys set up this.
But it's like
but if it's bigger and better, I like it.
It's supposed to feel like you should be. It's sick.
Yeah.
It's supposed to feel like you just walked on board a space station.
Okay.
Yeah, and not in like a corny like a movie set way. It's just sort of like some different visual cues and different things that you'll notice. We actually used one of the logos on the front of the booth. We found the guys who do the gold like foil plating for NASA ships, and we commissioned them to do like the coating of the Unico logo. That's kind of a stupid detail.
That's kind of cool.
But and they also make the Grammy, like the trophies, like the Academy Awards trophies.
Oh,
cool.
really?
But anyway,
that's super cool.
Little detail.
Yeah. What do you do? I don't think you guys had anything last year or this year even. Like, how do you make a social push at the events? Besides having just the look of it, but how do you tell me to follow or do or? Yeah,
we do a terrible job of that as well. It's just terrible. I mean, terrible.
Damn.
But you're going to go there and you're going to go through the booths that have like 500 iPads on stands, and they're going to collect your email and your social security and your hair color and stuff like that in order to get one sip of their thing. We're not there yet. I don't have the resources to have someone set all that up, and I don't care to do that stuff. I would rather focus on creating an awesome experience. Get people to be able to interact freely with the brand and with the products. And like I said, a lot of companies, maybe it's wise to do so, but they're trying to extract every bit of value out of that huge amount of money that they put into the show. We're bad at that, but in some ways I think we're being small like we are. We're there. We're happy to be there. We're happy to kind of make some noise and be like, we're here, come like hang out with us, come sample our stuff, come get a great deal on a product. And kind of hope that more of the traditional, word of mouth or check that out, or what are those lights all about? Why does that music sound so different? And so we try to. That's kind of how we're trying to draw people to us. That's kind of my cop out, crappy excuse for not doing the hard work of actually making a good plan on making the most of these things. But maybe that'll come. But yeah, I mean, we're not doing much more than just trying to bank on people
liking the look of it.
Exactly.
Well, you got, I think, was it last year we were there and you guys had some sort of mask or something and I remember people like
unicorn mask.
Yeah. People, I don't know if people were putting it on or just taking pictures around it.
People were definitely putting it on and dancing and taking pictures and being social with themselves.
I guess that's it. I mean, like that's a nice thing to have people do it, and people love unicorns.
They do. Yeah. And we actually, and I did want to put this on the record of we were very authentic and genuine in our embracing of the unicorn. It was our name is Unico Nutrition. Yeah. That was in 2012. That was the first name. It's never changed. Yeah. And people, they would visually want to put that little R between the O and the N in nutrition. So we would get customer service emails, Dear Unicorn Nutrition. And because we're kind of a loud, kind of not taking ourselves too seriously type brand, people are like, oh, it's a unicorn brand or whatever. And obviously you guys know very well with the Unicorn Crunch Bar, we kind of did embrace that as a theme. Unfortunately, it's really gotten diluted, and It regrets me to say that we've kind of shifted a little bit away from that.
Yeah.
And sort of embraced our galactic nature, which is maybe, still kind of loud and fun and surreal, but not quite as whimsical.
Yeah.
But a lot of brands, even within our industry, have taken that and just blown it to shit. And it just seems trashy and crappy now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't name names, but
well, I think you just kind of did.
It's trashy.
Yeah, you know what? I remember
trashy is synonymous
last time you were pissed off. Yeah, there was somebody using that same name or something similar.
Yeah,
and you went over their booth or something.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was a funny story. Yeah. But yeah, brands. I mean, almost every company in our industry now has like a unicorn flavor or like something. Everyone's tried to get in on it, and what happened was it made us just look like posers. Like we didn't, we were late to the table and stuff, and which wasn't the case. We had a genuine, like, earnest, like, right to use it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of taken from us. It was just kind of, like I said, diluted. But it is what it is.
What do you think you guys will do in 2019 different than the last couple years?
That's a good idea. Probably
I feel like I asked that, like, so seriously.
Be more,
Is life
changing? Well, we're going from unicorns to serious stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, our brand is gonna change a lot. I personally, in my team, spent a ton of 2018 with our head to the grindstone, nose to the grindstone rather, just planning in the dark for what's to come, and that's kind of a changing of course for our ship, so to speak. We have always been very true to the traditional sports nutrition world, and I think that world is maybe limited in the amount of people that are relating to it and behaving within its confines. And for that reason, we're going to kind of open things up to maybe some more modern types of products, definitely types of products that will appeal to different types of people, which is incredibly intimidating because they say stick to what you know, stick to your guns, don't try and do too much. But we're doing it in a way that we're still true to who we are, but at the same time, we're kind of getting out of the box of traditional bodybuilding and traditional weightlifting and some of the things that are associated with the types of products that we've historically sold. So that's going to be awesome. And I know I've kind of hinted at what those different things are to you guys and shown you some things. And we're gonna. I think it's going to be a big. I hope it pays off. It's always a risk when you do kind of go a different direction, but we are going to do it in a way to where we're staying true to our guns and sticking to our guns. And we are going to we have a couple updated versions of some of our best selling products that are going to be great. And so that's the name of the game in 2019 is literally like 14 different products that we've been working for over a year on that we're going to release to the world.
14 new products?
14, yeah. If we're calling it, we refer to each different flavor. So really, a flavor, a chocolate and a vanilla each counts as a product.
Okay.
Because each requires an unbelievable amount of work to bring to life. Yeah. But just a ton of new stuff to kind of match the to kind of play in the space that we want to play in.
Yeah. When will you start launching that stuff? Will you do anything special for the Fit Expo, like a
launching at the Fit Expo?
Yeah, we might tease some stuff. We might tease some stuff.
Okay.
We'll bring some mock-ups. Yeah, maybe not like physical samples, but because LA, kind of the culture and the trends here are what sort of guided that shift in how we're navigating it. It is in our best interest to make use of the big crowds that are going to come out from our area and be like, hey, this is what we make that we know you love, but this is also what's coming. Keep your eye on us. And so that finding a good way to do that. I mean, I'm open to ideas too.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of like physical product to sample of those things, but who knows? Maybe a little flyer or like a little something just to let people know what's coming. Would be advisable for sure.
That's cool.
Maybe that's the ploy to get them to give them your email address or something.
Seriously,
first or follow us and we'll DM us or we'll
that's
send
awesome.
it first.
Do you have like with products and stuff? Do you have memberships?
We've started doing subscription option on one of our top selling products just to see if it was getting traction. Mm-hmm. With us, it's kind of tricky because we do have such a deep menu. Like we said, it's maybe you don't want peach ring, the peach ring flavor every month. Maybe you want the blue frost or the blackberry lemonade the next month. And so setting up something, we've even thought of like, how could we set up like a wild cart? Like how do we like surprise and like send you a different flavor or something?
You could do like a subscription box where like you get your typical pre-workout, but then also you're gonna get something else every month, or that's what I meant. Like if you had like an exclusive tier, then those people are the ones getting the new stuff. First. That's why I asked.
I see what you're saying. And subscription box, that whole concept, especially for people who are we like changing it up and not being non-committal, and we've already noticed a lot of that with releasing some of our trial. We just released what we call our special sample box, which is one of our. We have 9 flavors of protein, and in our sample box you can spend $19 and try each, all of them.
Oh, cool.
And so that's been made a huge impact for us, because 4 out of 5 people who buy that box, they end up buying a full tub, which is sick. And that's like going into it, you invest a ton of money to do single serving. We're like, oh man, I don't know. But to finally have some data and show that
80% of people are doing it.
Yeah, it's a huge number.
It's awesome. But it goes back to what I said in the first 5 minutes. Like, just focus on making a sick product. Because then when you do that stuff, you're not afraid to give out one sip of something.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna like it, and they are gonna want to buy more. Yeah. So, but yeah, a trial box, something like that, as we only have more and more of like the single servings and our new bars, that's a cool idea to try and even with like existing customers, like cross sells and upsells, like you like this, try that type thing. Logistically and from a fulfillment like back end standpoint, it's definitely challenging. Because everyone likes to make money on that stuff, but it's a good idea though.
Yeah, well, cool. Looks like an exciting 2019 for Unico Nutrition. Cool, dude. Anything else, Timmy?
Nah, cool. No? It's great. Thank you.
Well, dude, appreciate the time. We'll see you soon. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you could rate it, subscribe, share, we would certainly love that, Timmy, wouldn't we?
Yeah, also screenshot it and put us in your story and tag us. That way we know who you are and we can share it too.
That's a great idea. We're at Business and BS on Instagram and also Facebook and Twitter. Once again, this podcast is in partnership with us, ourcitycoffee.com. Use the code BS. Get 15% off your coffee right now. Until next time, goodbye.